Match Fishtank, Unit 8, Lesson 2, Anchor Problems. Here we have a couple of dot plots that are used to describe student height, both in 6th grade and in 7th grade. And I noticed that in 6th grade, there seemed to be some dots clustered around 50 inches and some dots clustered between 55 and 60 inches. In the 7th grade, I noticed that it's more spread out, so that there are some students that are almost up to 70 inches. 72 inches is 6 feet, so that's a pretty tall student. And there are some students that are down at what looks like 48 inches, probably closer to 49 inches. 48 inches is 4 feet, so that's pretty short, but remember, everybody grows at their own rate. So I would describe the 7th grade heights as being much more spread out than the 6th grade heights, which, as I said, are clustered in 2 places with a greater cluster here. Although I noticed that the majority of the 7th grade heights are just a little bit more than these 6th grade heights, and nobody in 6th grade is up where the tallest 7th graders are. Looking at this rather long question about Mia and her heart rate, I've made a graph to take a look at this in a separate document. So I'm going to slide this over a bit so we can see both at once. Alrighty, so it tells me that I want to make sure I'm including the heart rates of everybody in Mia's class, including Mia. And I notice that I did not include a dot for Mia. Ooh, let's do that now. Oh, it doesn't like it on there. That's okay. You can just imagine a dot for Mia right there at 80. And I can see from this heart rate chart that most people are in between, I would say even 83 and 86 covers most people. So Mia is definitely at the lower end of this heart rate. So let's see how that helps us answer the questions. The student with the lowest heart rate was 80. That was Mia. And the student with the highest heart rate was 89. We don't know who that is. How many students had a heart rate greater than 86 beats per minute? Well, greater than would not include 86. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 students had a heart rate greater than 86 beats per minute. What fraction of students had a heart rate less than 82 beats per minute? So only 2, remember I didn't put a dot for Mia there, 2 out of 23 students had a heart rate less than 82 beats per minute. What heart rate represents the center of the data? So at this point, we're just doing this kind of holistically, but it seems to me, just taking a look at this, right, I would say at 85 is probably right about the center of the data, because I'm noticing that there's about the same number on this side as there are on this side. What would you say is the typical heart rate of a 6th grader in Mia's class? I would say the typical heart rate is somewhere between 84 and 85. That seems like a pretty reasonable amount looking at this chart. Again, right now I'm just looking at it holistically, or looking at the entire dot plot and trying to make a determination based on that. Not applying any statistical analysis techniques yet. And how does Mia's heart rate compare to the rates of other students in her class? Mia's heart rate is definitely below the other students. So if her goal is to become a track star, and we know that track stars tend to have lower resting heart rates, this probably indicates that Mia's in pretty good shape. All right, moving on down. Here we have a survey of a sixth grade classroom asking how many movies they've seen and the genre of each movie. So again, I did this in a separate document. And you can see that I've made a frequency table for the genres. And there was a label up there, but it kind of disappeared when I moused over it. So I used a tally chart, and then I found the frequencies. And then I also made a frequency chart for the number of movies that individuals had watched over here, the 5, the 2. And then I wanted to make a dot plot of the data set that represents numerical data, and that would be the number of movies. You can't make a dot plot for something that's not numerical. So then I can see easily from the dot plot that the number of people who watched 2 movies in the last month is the greatest. So that would have the greatest frequency or would appear the most frequently.